Well, technically there is, but it would require a deadly sacrifice. I should slow my mouse down when I'm doing these exaggerated head movements to indicate that I'm talking. It's a lot smoother. I already did a beep boop test. It's a lot smoother and is less likely to get all the viewers to be nauseous.
Indeed.
Well, I'll still manage, but, you know.
Alright, we're live on Twitch.
It's the thought that counts. If you, my dear viewer, would just shrink everything down, like a whole lot, you wouldn't actually get nauseated, nor would you be able to see anything, which is in the spirit of the game, really.
Yeah, don't do head bobs, mate. They're not pleasant to watch. Hello, Babon. Well, YouTube must be live.
But that's nice. Is it actually live? Are we sure it's live? It
Well,
might not be
Babon
live.
says somebody's up late.
Yeah, it might have just been the realization that there is a posting somewhere on YouTube that doesn't actually...
And Babon says, so YouTube is working for once.
Okay, YouTube is working. I think I figured out what the problem was.
What?
For some bizarre reason, YouTube has a minor aneurysm if I'm not streaming to them at 1080p.
Were we not streaming at 1080?
I wasn't streaming at 1080p. I was using my old OBS settings, which didn't do that because at the time when I was streaming, I didn't have a computer powerful enough to do that.
Uh-huh.
I forgot what I was doing, really.
You were going to build a thing?
I mean, yeah, I know you say that, but how do you build stuff? Right, I'm ready.
Oh, Babon says he's just got the Twitch notification.
Oh, that's nice, too. I've got too many things around here. They're annoying me.
Okay, well, you can do something about it.
I'm not sure if we can.
So, you wanted to do a thing. Hello, Terry.
Hello, Terry. Yes, we're up late, but then again, so are you. Oh no, gravity! Gravity, no! Yeah, that's right. Boris still has gravity. I thought I'd just turn my jetpack off and gently float over here. You know, like a graceful welding fairy. But no, it's bloody gravity everywhere.
Sal's computer still out for the count? Yeah, what I'm going to do tomorrow is put one of our old graphics cards back into my new computer so that I should be able to play.
Ugh.
And then that way, like, send my old graphics card back and all that sort of thing.
Oh, this is nonsense.
What?
Almond's parked on top of the thing I was going to use. And he's parked sideways too. This isn't helping.
Happy Monday, Thursday. And he's just got up.
What, Maundy Thursday?
Well, I've just got up to...
It's a Maundy.
Monday. It's like the day before Easter Friday, Monday, Thursday.
Oh.
Is Nightbot working?
Is maybe, probably, I haven't checked. I could check. Do you want me to check?
I can see that we can see...
Assault command? Yeah, okay. It might not be working. Hold on a second.
Yeah, I can see that
Oh yeah, gravity.
YouTube comments are appearing in Twitch.
Yeah, but no Nightbot is doing a thing.
Yeah.
Hold on, I can fix it. We're doing live fixing on stream. Yeah. Ugh. Just blew all the stuff in here. Right, turning that off and moving the mouse over there, which you can't see because I, for once, did something.
The Queen distributes Monday money.
Does she?
I
Right.
don't know.
I think we have that too. It's just something like Green Thursday or something. I don't know. I think it's funny. No, not I personally think it's funny. I think we thought it might have been funny, collectively speaking, as Germans. Because, you know, we've got Black Friday, make Thursday green.
I see. So
You
what
don't seem
you
as
actually
enthusiastic about it
doing
as I was
over
hoping.
there?
I'm turning on Nightbot again.
Ah.
Might have just been that I didn't connect it in a while.
Mia to the rescue. Oh, special minted coins, I think, to old people, says Terry.
It's nightbot.tv, everybody. It's not nightbot.com. Of course. Log in. Yeah, YouTube. YouTube was the one that we usually used. Yes, that's the one where people give me salt all the time. Well, let's see. And I'd forgot all your settings.
I don't know. Most of our people are on Twitch these days, though.
I know. Oh no, it still has the cheese command.
Okay.
I don't know what to do with that. Did the thing join the chat? I can't tell. Somebody give me salt. I probably deserve it at this point.
Okay.
Not you. Don't
Do
take the pleasure away from the viewer. I'm sure they're enjoying it.
Terry says there's less lag on Twitch. Yeah.
I mean, yes. Technically. No, not on Twitch, you fools. No, not on Twitch, you...
So only Babom can do it because there's only Babom on YouTube.
Yeah. Fair point. Oh, now everybody's doing it on bloody Twitch.
Eventually, every bloody day is going to have a name. We will no longer need months or days represented by numbers. It will just be T-Day, green month.
Excuse me,
2654.
Excuse me, every day already has a name. For example, today's the 18th of April, 2019. Oh, oops, I sped up my mouse again.
Yeah, don't do that, me. There we
go.
No,
excuse me, this is the standard setting. I turned it down for this.
don't whiz around with your head. Oh. And yes, it worked.
Haha, I fixed it for one person. Exclusivity.
I'll have to get that set up so it works on Twitch.
Yeah, but for that I need to be you on Twitch, and I can't afford that.
You're often me on Twitch?
No, I'm not.
Anyway, what are you doing? You didn't come here just to rant at viewers.
That is very true. Very well observed. Well done so far.
So what are you doing?
I'm building a ship. Well, I would be if Almond wouldn't be blocking the bloody exit.
So, Mia, you didn't just come here to be grumpy, did you?
No, I'm not grumpy. I'm just trying to point out that if you're already up here, you shouldn't be, blocking the parking space.
Sal got a hangover? No, I've not got a hangover. I forgot it was Thursday today. I thought it was Friday.
And then she had a snooze.
And so I had a snooze. Mia cross-dresses as Sal?
What? No, I don't. Okay, fine. Maybe I can work through Almond then. Right, production. I need conveyor tubes. Like 10.
So what's your plan?
I'm going to build a tube out of this connector here, leading off somewhere over here.
Uh-huh.
And then I'm sticking a welder on it. So I don't actually need to go about welding things. I'll just fly a projection into it.
Oh, okay.
I'm working smart, not hard. But it's hardly working, really. Assembler. Are those... Don't use assembler. I'm not using that assembler then. Fair point. Are those station assemblers that I'm looking at here? Probably yes. They're orange, so obviously not part of Almond's ship. Oh, my inventory's full. Never mind then. Tube. I finished the prototype for the...
Is that the right side? Or isn't that going towards the other ship? Wouldn't you want to...
Well, yes, this is going to the other ship, but it's the only one that's open. Don't worry, I'll angle it and then just whiz it over here.
Right, yeah.
How many was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
For me, it's
10.
thinking on Sunday night, it's Friday night that gets me very depressed and results in much panic Monday morning. Yeah. Who was it? Oh, it was Terry who said I think it was a month ago. He said, "Isn't it a bank holiday on Monday?" And I got so excited. Isn't it bank holiday? Isn't it May bank holiday Monday?
In April.
In April.
And look at that. Now it is.
I take it Boris survived his little power cut. Oh, yeah. Have you not seen this video?
For crying out loud, nothing bad happened to him. I don't
Indeed.
get why everyone was so panicky.
Yeah, we're still not picking up anything here. Is that right?
You can't see this because I muted for you. Don't worry, I can see us blinking every now and then. Well,
Okay.
I used to until I minimized Discord in favor of turning on Nightbot.
Yeah. Terry says, "My excuse is I'm retired." So you boast. You taunt us. I have 7-day weekends, so I get confused. I'm jealous.
I don't like how the iron number was in the red the entire time there.
Maybe all the cargo containers are full and it just has to make iron.
Probably. I mean, we did fill up the entire station with...
Oh yeah, and we didn't say hello to Elemental Blaze. Hello, Elemental Blaze. 35 years of working for BT, I deserve to be retired.
So does BT at this point.
They've been alright.
Have they? I thought they were one of the worst ones.
We've got our broadband through BT, it's been fine.
Yeah, that's because you're living in an inner city. They've got too much competition here to be able to afford anything else. I mean, they recently installed this weird fabric film thing that they keep sending us advertisement leaflets for.
I mean,
They have
worked for a
competition.
competitor.
See? Mm-hmm. How was it?
Bernie says, 12 minutes and no announcement. Is the stream bot down?
What now? Bob got an announcement, like 2 of them.
Terry
even.
got an announcement.
That too? Not that. He too. Okay, now we get to the horrifying part.
Anyway, the only thing you really missed was Mia fiddling around off screen getting...
I turned Nightbot back on.
Nightbot working so that the bomb could give him salt.
I always forget which way around these things go.
Oh, Terry got an announcement for YouTube.
So the cross is the top or the front?
I don't know.
Oh, these doesn't... So I know those are the sides.
Oh, you're talking about the stream bot on Discord.
I don't know about that one.
Yeah, I don't know anything about the stream alerts on Discord.
I think this is the top and this is the front. It's a gamble, but at this point I'm willing to take it. I can't fix the stream announcement bot. That's outside of my jurisdiction area. Ow.
Oh, so people are going over to YouTube for more fun. So, yeah, we need to get that set up for Twitch. We'll sort that out tomorrow. The Twitch announcement goes to my ancient Yahoo email. I never look at that. Make Nimgle do it. Agreed. It seems to be a little lazy today. Hey, cheese! Or was it Jeffrey? I've seen people...
CSST form or Jeff?
Yeah. Was it Jeff
Reed.
who did? I can see in stream alerts that there's lots of people saying, "Where's Sal? Why is Sal not streaming? Is Sal not streaming tonight? Why are you not streaming?" And Mia's saying she's got a lazy arse in bed.
Don't phrase it like this.
Oh no, I've summarised.
You heretic.
Bernie's saying poke her with a stick.
Yeah, I'm not poking my landlord with a stick. I'm not suicidal.
And Potato suggesting that you make a beacon and
A beacon? No, that's
no,
bacon.
It's bacon.
A bacon.
Hey, Sal.
Make a beacon.
And she says, don't mind me, I can't hear a thing sitting in this restaurant, just passing by. In that case, I should say, hi, cheese. Because he can't hear us, so I can say hi in chat instead.
Off thought.
And Bernie points out, landlady, if you please. I'm a lady.
Land loser. Oh no, I should have said that.
You really should say something like that.
Okay, how do we turn this thing?
To your landlady. I'm a lady. You had a year to fix it and you never got around to it. Classic Nidd. No, it was working the other day. I saw it said something about somebody streaming, and the way it works, because I asked somebody about this, is that it flashes up. You get a message saying somebody's streaming while they're streaming, and then it deletes it once they've finished. But Mom says, I got a notification for icing. I just saw icing pop up on my Twitch notifications, actually.
Oh, icing is around. Is he around here?
No, he is, according to Twitch,
okay.
running some
I've got
EFT
it
with Tommy.
Down. Got it upside down. That's the start.
It's space.
Well, yeah, no, but I need to angle it the right way so
Well,
I
if you
don't build the
turn-
ship into the
Oh, fair enough.
capital plum. There is one distinct connection point that I need to fetch, otherwise this won't work.
Okay.
Aha! Haha!
Mia needs to stand in the corner and think why he made Sal mad. No, what happened, for those who missed it, was I thought it was Friday today because it was like last day at work and it felt like a Friday. So I managed to bunk off work early and I came home and I ate some things and watched some videos and then thought, I think I'll have a snooze. Because basically I can see a holiday looming in front of me, which means my body's going, yay, let's go nocturnal. So it was like late afternoon, early evening. Yeah, and so that was that. I was out for the count. Will we be streaming for about 2 hours? Yes, I imagine so.
What if it's the entire night because Sal's nocturnal now?
Well,
we'll
I can't
find out.
play, so it's not quite as interesting.
Oh, I see how it is. Well, fine. Do you want to take a tour of the ship before I begin welding?
No, you've done that, and it was hard to... I just want to see it start welding. So Mia has prototyped the
engine.
The engine. Mm.
Well, yeah, but now you don't have the the other thing in the way. Oh no, you've got the moon in the way. Oh, this is not working.
No, just I don't need a tour. Just make it and then give me a tour.
Oh, this is going to take hours.
Sal, you seem to bunk off more than work. That's, well, what it is, I've now been doing the same job for about 4 years. And the first year I did this job, I put in a huge amount of hours to make sure that every time I did a thing that I knew I would do again in a year, so like things like the annual accounts and stuff like that, I set it all up. I put in an enormous amount of time so that like something that should take say 100 hours, I put something like 150 hours, and those 50 hours were all my own time. And on the grounds that then the following year it would only take me 20 hours. So I set everything up, made everything templated and stuff like that. And those 100 hours, so I normally I'm contracted to work a 37-hour week. But to do the amount of work that I need to do, particularly in February and March, I have to do close on 80-hour weeks, and then I slack off the rest of the time. But because I've put in so much of my own time up front, it means that actually I don't have to do that much. But so I'm claiming back time that, you know, I rightfully am owed. Automatic annual assessments for your staff. I wish. That is one thing I wish I could. That was a bit more automated than it is. All the annual assessments are like, we've got this system where we've got to fill it in and write down, and then like member of staff have got to write in their opinion, and you've got to write your opinion, and the system is dreadful. And this is, I think, the third system that we're on and stuff. And Terry says, Babom, I don't blame her. I just think her boss isn't very observant. Well, we have we've got flexible working arrangements, which mean that they're not watching over our shoulders, and it is about task output. It's like, did I or did I not get the annual accounts done in time? I don't do all the annual accounts. I'm not an accountant, but I do a good part of the document production. Did I or did I not? Like I used to write the business plan. Did I write the business plan in time? Did I write the constitution? Did I do that in time? So it's stuff like that. They know what I have to do, and they know roughly how long these things should take. So I don't have to be at my desk. I'm at my desk quite a lot because I also manage a team, and I just need to make sure that they're okay. And Soup Lady needs an awful lot of babysitting before she ended up in hospital, because she would get lonely and stuff. Terry says, I hated doing assessments and annual reviews, especially when I had a boss who wanted to look good and wrote everyone down despite performance. How does that make you... That's... Well, maybe... Certainly in modern eyes, the performance of staff is... If you have... the boss is measured on whether or not you've got high-performing staff. If you have poor-performing staff, then it's deemed that you're a bad boss. If you've got good performing staff, so like if everybody deserves pay rises and accolades and stuff like that, that's because you've done a good job. And Babam says, yeah, I think output is far more important than when you do it, as long as it's on time. That's it. It's about, as long as the quality is right and you hit it on schedule, that's the important thing. Terry says, my bosses wrote their own reviews. Yeah, we gotta do this. Like we start off. You gotta you write up something first, then you have a meeting, and then you write up the results of the meeting, and it's all done in a very restrictive, standardized thing, which like follows. It doesn't matter how different people's jobs are, they're all supposed to fit into this. It doesn't really work very well. It means that me and my boss have got it quite easy because our jobs are very task oriented. It's like I can just be given tasks that have like very clear specific outputs. Some of my staff are not I don't have those sorts of jobs. Like with Mia, for example, his job is to do all the crap that needs doing. It's sort of like,
oh no!
What?
It welded a block I was going to drive into.
At Mia, may I suggest a mobile welding ship instead of a stationary welder?
I mean, yes, that is a nice idea, but I'd like to have the station hold everything. Otherwise, I need to constantly move back and forwards trying to fetch everything I need.
I think staff members should have an opportunity to contribute to the boss's assessment. Yeah, they do. They do in ours. That's because you both have to agree on what's written. before it's like submitted upwards and say HR and stuff. So that bit's good, and I agree with that, because that way if there's any dispute between staff and boss, then it's known. It's not something that's kept undercover. It's something where one or other is refusing to like an agreement can't be reached between a member of staff and a boss. Then there's a relationship breakdown there, and that needs to be dealt with. Problem with a mobile welder is that he's producing resources as he's welding. That's true. Bernie says, it is known, huh? What is known? What's known? I missed that. Did I just... What did I miss? Was it something I said? Did I say that? Is it about... That was a GOT reference, Game of Thrones. Oh, okay. Haven't watched it, and yet I think it's probably right up my street as well. I like that kind of thing. I'll probably watch it like when everybody else has already watched it and it's no longer a cool thing. Then I'll watch it. It's like The Wicker Man. I didn't watch The Wicker Man until it had been out for 20 years, I guess. I'm not entirely sure when it did come out. Bernie says, haven't watched it either. Might watch it after it all ends this year. Yeah. Do a binge watch on it. That appeals to me. I do like a good binge watch. Terry says, the only thing I watch is QI, which is... I've watched in the past, I quite enjoyed. And HIGNFY, which is... Have I Got News For You? Right, yeah. Again, I watched that in the past and quite enjoyed it. Hello, Ms. Carner, who says, we all know full well all bosses would get bad reviews as a result. Mia, am I or am I not the best boss you've ever had?
No.
Who was the better boss?
Me.
No, not including yourself when you're self-employed.
Oi! That was like the best boss I ever had.
So I've had some really good bosses. Wicker Man is as old as you, Sal. I can't imagine life without binge watching. What did everyone do when they wanted to know what happened next? Well, I am old enough to remember that. When but there was some, in a way, there was some things that there were some experiences that you had by having to wait. So one of the an experience that I remember which stuck in my mind, and this is from the 1990s, is I was a big fan of Red Dwarf. And it was out on BBC Two. It's like terrestrial TV. You got to watch it. It was on that time of that day of that week. Hello, Free Sounds. And what and so it was like a special occasion. It's like, it's on that time. So you turn up and like nothing matters. The phone's off the hook, everything, because that's when the TV show's on. So you make sure you're there to watch it. And as the TV program, it gets introduced by an announcer, and now people, Red Dwarf, and the guy said, the final episode of Red Dwarf, and I was like, whoa, what? This is the last episode? And I was like, not the last episode ever, surely not. And that was must have been playing in the back of my mind a little bit. So, will this episode start like it was quite a gripping episode of what is supposed to be a comedy, but and at one point they all die, and I was like, no, you can't kill them all off. No, not the end of Red Dwarf. And then and then all of a sudden it flashes back to another scene, and it turns out that they've all been, I think, gassed with some hallucinogenic gas or something like that. And it was just a coincidence that it was the last episode of the series, not the last episode ever. But I was completely sucked in by it because I didn't know any better, and because you didn't have a little bar going across the bottom of the screen telling you that there was still 5 minutes of episode left. And it was really, really good. It was a really good episode. To the point where I can even remember that the episode was called Suicide Squid. Everybody dies. It's a great show. So it was... but it was just fantastic. And it was funny, and it was... gripping and everything. And I was completely suckered in. And the thing was, you knew at the start that they were hallucinating, but it appeared that they all hallucinated to the point where they killed each other. But then it turned out that because they were only hallucinating, they didn't actually manage to do each other any damage. So it was, it was fascinating. So, of course, if I was to binge watch, I would know that there was at least 1 or 2 more series to come. But I do enjoy a good binge watch. Mom says, I never did like live TV. I don't like the feeling of watching something at the same time as everyone else, and yet you're here. Where everybody else is watching at the same time, and at the same time as we're making it.
Well, he's not watching here, he's interacting. This is like a conversation.
Yeah. This is... And I've tried to explain this to people who don't understand what on earth it is that I'm doing on Twitch. It's extra live TV. Terry says, Bob-omb I watch on BBC iPlayer. So, yeah, I've tried to explain it to people like Polystyrene Hat Phil, to whom, who still thinks that I play World of Mineshaft on TV is kind of how he rationalises it in his head. The original Red Dwarf was funny, the newer one seems lacking. Yeah, is it the same writer? I enjoyed the newer one. But, sure, it doesn't have the same sort of... like, the older ones were kind of...
character-based comedy. Then they introduced all this nonsense where they fly around and find weird robots and ships and all those fancy effects. Don't get me wrong... lovely stuff. The series was still good after that, but it wasn't the same thing as Rimmer and Lister just going on about each other at the start.
Well, a bit like with The Matrix. The early one had a philosophy. The later one had a story.
Action scenes. Oh, that too.
Yeah. Because...
what did I just bump into? I just bumped into something.
Probably. The Red Dwarf book, there's 2 Red Dwarf books that the early series, I'm not sure if they're based on or whether the stories expand on the series. I don't know which came first, TV or books, don't know. But you can, by reading I've read the books and it goes into an awful lot of depth about how and why, and they've put a lot of thought into who the characters are that you don't capture in the TV show, but comes out enough that you can feel sort of like Lister's the tension between the failing upper class Rimmer and the cheeky lower class scumbag of Lister, and there's a And there's a lot behind the character development, the history of the characters and stuff like that, which gets touched on in the TV series. But to be able to write those books in such a detailed way, in a way that's stitched together so well, they must have known all of this before they really fleshed out the characters. But the latest series was just, we really should bring this back. Let's give them some good stories. So, need to find the rest of the new show. We watched a few episodes, didn't we, Mia? Did we watch the whole lot?
We watched everything that was out at the time. I
Yeah,
don't know if they've released more.
Yeah.
I think it ended with the episode where they bring Holly back.
World of Mineshaft, I've not heard of that. I think Phil has heard of World of Warcraft, and he's heard of Minecraft, and he's heard of Mineshafts, and he doesn't know what any of these things are, and he's kind of just mashed all of the words together into World of Mineshaft.
Oh no, I'm fairly certain he's doing that on purpose.
I don't think he did at first. He got a laugh out of it. And
now he's sticking
Now
with
he
it.
sticks with it, yeah. It's like the first time that he referred to YouTube as being FaceTube.
Yeah. No,
I think it was a genuine mistake, and now he runs with it.
Pretty much.
So Red Dwarf is about classism. A little bit. It's all about human relationships, except one's a cat, one's a robot, and then there's an upper class failure and a lower class scrote. Aha, ladies and gentlemen, I have pizza, and it may even be calzone, says Bernie. Nice. Don't get me started. Cat has to be the best, though. Yeah, Cat is brilliant. And the whole, again in the books, the whole thing about the cat religion, and it goes into an awful lot of depth about how as the cats evolved over the 3 million years, there was this religion about which you get a little bit of in the episode, but just the highlights. But they go into all the depth about how there was a god called Clister, and was it Loister? And the two factions fought to the death until there was only one left. And I think that's about as much as you get told in the episodes. But there's so much more. There's so much richness behind that story in the books. So, again, it's something that they had thought through. It wasn't just a passing thought. God called Oyster. And that cloister, or no, it was definitely Clister and Loister, I think, who was a god who had saved the original mother, which was true. That was how the first cat got on board the ship. What are his powers? Which Jeff is the best god there is. What are his powers? Bernie points out to Terry that triggering Mia is exactly what he's trying to do. I think Mia's eaten tonight, haven't you?
I had a calzone recently. Sal was there.
Did.
She witnessed it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I'm fine. I've had my calzone fix for the moment.
Human, mutant, hologram. Do you know what? I'd completely forgotten that Rimmer was a hologram. Who's the ghost of some dead dude. And a robot that's just a glorified Hoover. And, of course, the ship's computer, who's going slightly senile after being alone for 3 million years.
Slightly.
What his powers can get on any bus or train. Bernie says, anyway, I prefer the Klingon approach to religion. Their version of Adam and Eve killed the gods that created them. Yeah. The underlying message of Cat's religion in Red Dwarf is that how stories get warped over years, and the fallouts over the stories, like how the truth gets lost in history, and And that small variations on the truth where no one is quite right anyway, but they're prepared to go to war and kill each other over a minor detail where neither of them have actually got it right, and it doesn't matter anyway. Oh, Elemental Blaze is going to go make dinner as he listens in. Lost about this topic, yeah. It's a Red Dwarf is a British TV series, sci-fi series set in space, which came about in, I think, was it the 1980s or 1990s? Can't remember. History is a bit like Chinese whispers. And Babom says only Londoners will get that joke. Oh, God called oyster. Yeah, I didn't get that joke. I'm not from London. Mia doesn't like London.
That's true. Thank you for pointing it out.
He likes Terry, though, don't you?
Is he from London?
Fulham. London.
Is that London?
Yes.
It sounds like Fulham.
Fulham is a part of London. London's very... It's a bit like Manchester's got towns within Manchester.
Oh, is this whole Manchester City, Manchester United debate again?
No. This is like you have Denton and you have Wythenshawe.
Who the hell is Denton?
You've heard of Wythenshawe?
I have heard of Wythenshawe. I was there once.
Wythenshawe is a town within Manchester.
Don't like it.
Well, no, Wythenshawe is like...
The rubbish heap.
That's an unfair way to put it. It was a new town that was built 20 miles, I think? Maybe 10 miles? Not sure. It was built at least an hour's travel time outside of the city centre, and then they immediately cut off all transport links. So it became a very poor place. But it was originally built as a garden city so that people who were living in the slums would get somewhere nice to live. Oyster card, how to pay for London transport. I understand that. Chinese whispers, except people deliberately try and change it. Wouldn't you change it too? London sucks, says Miss Carner. Hammersmith and Fulham is a borough in London, says Terry. Elemental Blaze says, I've heard of Red Dwarf, the TV show, just never watched it due to... It was on when my father wanted to watch Star Trek. Yeah, there's things like that in my past as well, where there's TV shows that I never got to watch or never got into because it was on the other channel when either my dad wanted to watch the news or my mum wanted to watch something else. It was like my mum controlled the TV most of the time, but news and sport was my dad's choice. If news and sport wasn't on, then my mum got to choose what was on. London is great as long as you don't go or live in the wrong part.
Which is almost all of London.
And Terry said, you've only been to a tiny little bit here.
Well, yeah, that's London for me.
And Terry says, sadly, it's right next to Kensington and Chelsea, which is the
is that
rich
bad
bit.
thing?
It's the rich bit.
And now that's bad? Probably is bad. Probably means they've got all those dumb people living there.
Yeah, there's lots of dumb people living there. Bernie says,
yeah, but they have that in most parts of the town, really, as in people living there. That's the problem.
Yeah.
If there were nobody in London, I think I would like it a lot more.
It's just a bit big for you, isn't it, Mia? You're a rural boy at heart.
Don't phrase it like that. It makes it sound awkward.
Star Trek is greater than everything, except the JJ films and Discovery. We don't talk about those. Elemental Blaze says, well, Star Trek was a repeat, but no! We had to rewatch it. My mom says, nah, Doctor Who's better than Star Trek. Ooh.
Now, fellas, I think we can all agree that Stargate is above all of these.
I did actually really like Stargate.
Ha! I win!
There are lots of Star Treks that I like. Mia, move to North Yorkshire, says Terry.
What?
Or Cumbria.
Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing?
It's rural.
Oh,
countryside.
that. I didn't know that.
Far away from London.
You can't get far
And it's
enough.
It's a desolate type of countryside, especially, well, the far North Yorkshire is.
Well, I
is
don't
proper.
need to move. I've grown accustomed to the little corner of Manchester that I'm dealing with. It seems rural enough that I don't feel particularly bothered by it.
And if you look out of the window on a clear day, you can see the hills, can't you?
Exactly. You can't do that in London because everything's flat.
And if we stand
Oh,
on the
for
balcony
crying out loud!
and look up the street, you can see the little park behind the university, and that's nice.
I just let out all the air.
Mia, move to the Shetlands. You'd love it. One of my ancestors comes from the Orkney Islands. I preferred Babylon 5. I love Star Trek, but Doctor Who
Who said
wins.
that?
I'm not sure if that was either against Star Trek or Doctor Who. Terry says he preferred Babylon 5. Oh, I watched an episode of something. Blake 7. I want to know, is Blake 7 worth watching? There's not going to be that many people who know Blake 7, but Terry might. Are people trying to make Mia get more living space? Well, if he doesn't like the city, then... but Manchester has...
Excuse me, I'm
a feeling
already
of a very
annexing living
small-
space in the east. There's no need for more.
Blake 7, BBC Wobbly Sets.
Bless you. Bless you again.
Yeah, but Doctor Who had lots of wobbly sets, didn't they? I can get over production quality. It was, what's the story like, or the concept, or something like that. Ms. Karna says the south end of the economy is owned by 1% of the populace, as for the north being 55%, this being bankers and such. I saw, so it's like 1% of the world's wealth is held. No, 1% of the population hold 53% of the world's wealth, and the majority of those people live in 10 cities, one of which is London. I think something like 5 of them are in America. Correct me if I'm wrong, but in London, when you look out the window, you'll see that it's raining. That's pretty true of most places in the UK. It's certainly true for Manchester. We get more rain in Manchester.
It's not true enough for Manchester. I saw the sun today. It was hideous.
We get... In Manchester... Actually, London doesn't rain anywhere near as much as a lot of the other bits of the country. It's relatively warm and dry in the southeast corner. In fact, there is a little spot about 40 or 50 miles outside of London to the northeast, which is technically a desert. It's just one of those sort of bizarre little patches where, because of the geography of the area, when the rain travels in, no matter from which angle, it's always the clouds are gonna drop all their rain before they get to like that little small space. And so it hardly rains there. Yeah, it rains less in London than Manchester. In Manchester, on average, it rains here once every other day. It's just that it tends to clump a bit. So, although we haven't had much rain, well, relatively speaking, for a couple of years now, but it wouldn't be unusual for one day it might start raining in October, and the rain doesn't actually stop until maybe December. Sounds like Essex, Sal. A desert, but a desert both culturally and in terms of rainfall. Yeah, it was Essex. And it was Essex somewhere nearby. I used to live in Manningtree in Essex. It's on like the Suffolk border. And I can't remember where I used to drive to, but I used to drive through this little area that was classified as a desert. It had a weather station, and it was that weather station that kept on recording it as desert. I can't remember. It was where, what was her name? Mary Whitehouse? The woman who used to complain about sex on TV. She watched all the porn videos so you didn't have to.
What?
Terry knows what I'm talking about. I can't remember her name. Was her name Mary Whitehouse? Thing I love about London is the way you can go anywhere without needing cars or taxis. Yeah, that is nice. You can kind of do that in Manchester if you've got the, like, a go anywhere pass. It's just really expensive to get a go anywhere pass. Like, the buses do go everywhere, but yeah, there's only really buses that will go anywhere. It's, and you know, it can be it takes a bit of time. Wish we had a proper tube system. Yeah, an older and a more densely populated city. It's true. We're a much smaller city. Manchester. There's only 3.5 million people in the region, in the sort of the county. Clumpy rain? I guess I'm not visiting. Sounds painful. I did a comparison with Lafayette in Louisiana. I've got family in Lafayette, and Louisiana's one of those places where they get like monsoon type rain every so now and then. And the annual rainfall in Manchester was about equivalent to the to the annual rainfall in Louisiana. Louisiana and Manchester are about the same. It's just that whereas they would get about 30 days of rain spread across a year, and all of, like, they'd get, if the rain was going to fall one day, all the rain would fall in an hour. With us, our rain is so light that it can rain for a month and the pavements barely get wet, but you will be absolutely sodden. At Sal, so what you're saying is that it is someone's job to watch porn? Oh no, this was, yeah, Mary Whitehouse just liked to be offended. Yeah, Mary Whitehouse. She was, I guess, if the UK had like a teapot party, like in America, then she would be the bag in the teapot. Maybe. She set up a citizens panel of people who would keep an eye on things. She felt as though somebody needed to keep an eye on the morals of the UK, and so she took it upon herself to watch all of the disgusting things so that she could tell everybody that they were disgusting and make sure that nobody else except her had to watch this stuff. Terry says, doing my family tree, I found 90% of my ancestors came from Suffolk and Norfolk. Very worrying. So, very interrelated. And none of them seem to travel more than 10 miles from where they were born. Oh, wow. But Mom says, you know what I haven't seen in donkeys and myths? That's donkey's years. Large hailstones. Loved hearing them hit the ground. We got some... One day, about a month ago or something, we got just a mad hailstorm that lasted for about 2 minutes and stopped. Don't know why. But Mum says, don't know much about my family tree, but my dad grew up in Manchester. My mum grew up just outside it. I fancy that.
I do have the steel plates. Why can't I weld up this industrial cockpit?
I didn't think that any of my family came from Manchester. I thought I was the first of my family. Although I think, you know, there's sort of rumours of my mum stayed with a cousin somewhere around Manchester when she was in her teens. But very vague as to kind of where. But then I found out that a great-great-great-great-grandmother and father got married here. This White House lady sounds like a British version of Alice Schwarzer. Not a name I know. Mary Whitehouse did wonders for the viewing figures for the porny shows. Yeah, absolutely. It's like if Mary Whitehouse said, it's disgusting, you shouldn't watch it, it should be banned. Everyone's like, oh, that sounds interesting, we should watch that. That means there's either sex or violence on it. They had like the White House disapproval stamp. You knew it was going to be good. Let's just see if I missed anything in chat. You want hills? Move to Brighton? I don't understand how some houses don't fall over. They're so steep. Oh, what was that about? The concept of Blake 7 was very good, but execution was a bit lacking. Oh, I can look over execution. I don't mind poor production qualities and things if the story was good. For me, that's the key thing. Was the story good? Oh, how long have we been going, Mira? Is it?
Almost an hour in a moment.
Is that the White House Arschlich stamp of disapproval? I think, I think she probably would have been just too religious for me. I.e., if you tell someone to not look down, they look down. It was more like there's been a handful of songs over the years that the BBC banned from the shows where kids might be watching. Like the Top of the Pops show and stuff like that. And you could it was like the best thing that they could do for the sales was to hear that it had been banned on BBC radio, because then you knew it was like, oh, there must be some rude lyrics in there. Sel says, wait, they got liches going around stamping stuff? Boom says, I like interesting concepts and ideas most in TV, stroke movies, stroke books, stroke games. Yeah, I totally agree. I really enjoyed the June series. I've only ever read the books, never watched any film adaptations or TV or played any games or anything like that. Just read the books, and that I love it when a whole universe is created and just all the concepts in that. I love that. That was excellent. Kenny Everett, Hot Gossip. Yes, I really like Kenny Everett and Hot Gossip too. I made Mia watch some of that. Mary Whitehouse did not approve. Of course, interesting ideas are always interesting, except when they aren't interesting. So, how are you getting on, Mia?
Slowly. The station is out of thrusting components already.
Oh,
so
okay.
We're welding them up right now in the background. Here comes the next one.
Mm-hmm.
And now we wait.
Because they're having to make them well.
Yes.
Yeah. Nice idea, though, to stick to do it like that. That's.
It would probably be more efficient if it were a welding wall, but I imagine that's what Alman's working on.
Maybe.
He did mention that he wants to have a shipbuilding facility down on the planet, which is why Boris is working on this weird delivery system.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Did I build a panel welder? I did, didn't I? In season 2, I think it was. I did a panel welder with just three welders on it, so that Boris could weld up all these flat panels.
Oh, because I think the game wouldn't let me automatically weld up the industrial cockpit in this blueprint because it's part of the DLC. And now it lost all its settings. It didn't remember my settings. Why would it do that? That one's done. I can move backwards a little.
My favourite bit of pop culture knowledge is still the fact that Ding Dong the Witch is Dead re-entered the music charts when Thatcher died. I didn't know that. Yeah, Margaret Thatcher was a very divisive character.
The woman who saved Britain.
Or killed it, depending on which way you look at it. There were very much winners and losers. And that is still quite a debatable... The people who won under Thatcher are still winning now, and the people who lost under Thatcher are still losing now. And they didn't really get that much of a choice in it. A welding wall. Someone has probably made that as a parody to Wonderwall. Mia could also be the one who saved Britain if he tried hard enough. I don't think there is anything... There's nothing that says that you can't be Prime Minister if you weren't born here. You might have to be... I think you at least have to have the right to vote, I think, in order to stand to be elected. She saved the Falklands, not sure how much else she saved. She created the finance industry, the banking. She did create London as an international financial capital. In my view, Thatcher didn't die slowly and painfully enough. She was at the spearhead of inequality. So consequently, some people really like her and some people really hate her. Yeah. She saved the Falklands. Well, not herself, obviously. No, she didn't. She wasn't the one. She sent out the battleships. And you don't have to be born in the UK to become Prime Minister, unlike in the US. Yeah. I don't think you even need citizenship, though. I think as long as you have the right to vote. So, and I'm trying to, do you need to be a citizen to vote? Oh, you must be. Yeah. So, like Mia, for example, can't vote in a general election, but can vote in a local election because he has a right to live here, but he's not a citizen. So you would have to be a citizen to stand for Prime Minister, to stand as an MP. London was a financial capital back in the Victorian era. It wasn't it wasn't an international financial capital in the 70s. It didn't become the international financial hub until the 1980s and onwards. So it's yeah, it's like I say, she's a very divisive character. I find it hard to say that everything she did was all bad and that all of her ideas and things that she did were all of them were all bad. But yeah, she certainly didn't have any interest in the human cost of what she was doing. Yeah, well, Britain was screwed by the world wars. Yeah. She didn't have sort of like some of the things that made Thatcher were like Thatcher wouldn't have ended up being who she was and doing what she was doing unless the country was where it was. She didn't create the country that it was. If we'd have been in a much better state, then she wouldn't have done what she did. Yeah. Anyway, so Sal, are you saying Mir is an illegal alien, minus the illegal part?
No. I'm purely illegal,
well,
not an
actually,
alien.
Elemental Blaze, that is not wrong, because my status in the US, I am a non-resident alien spouse. That's my tax status in the US. But Mom says, I have a dim view of many politicians. Oh yes, so that means that if we use the same classification as the US, you would be a resident alien. I think that's just where you would be a resident alien, yeah. An alien is someone who was born outside of the US.
It sounds like the worst crossover of popular video game and movie franchises I could possibly imagine. Resident alien. Yeah. No, wait. What was that conversation we had recently with Aiden?
I don't know, but we should take a break. But Mom says you're going to take a break.
Conversation with Aiden about me being a lizard.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's take a break and I'll remember that.
Fine.
But Mom does say very few seem to understand exactly what people want and how it is different to what they're asking for. Indeed.
Well, we're going to cycle so YouTube gets some bite-sized chunk episodes, so see you again in a moment.
We'll be back in 5 minutes.